welcome to my journey into another weigh-in video. You know, I told you, it was yesterday on my menu plan. I wasn't sure how today was going to go. I just really wasn't, and we'll talk about that after we do the weight. I weighed in at 260.6 for a loss of 0.8. And that puts me at 116.5. Yes, I'm excited over 0.8. I don't care if it's not a whole pound. Do not care. That puts me, let me just tell you, 10.6 to go to get to 250. And 250 is my goal for surgery. Even though he said, even if you don't lose that 12 pounds, because it was 12 pounds when I seen him, even if you don't lose that 12 pounds come October, he said, I will fight for you. That was his exact words. I will fight for you. He said, you've come too far. I'm like, of course, I plan on getting there. I don't, it might be slow, but I'm going to get there. Let me just tell you. Oh, I meant to look something up before we come on here, and I forgot. I'm going to look it up. Fine. Let me write myself a note. We'll talk about that too. But where I'm still having troubles is getting in my protein. I'm just not wanting it in the strict sense of protein. Now, if you watched my What I Ate video, and I thought I would start doing them again. The last one I did was March, because I keep a copy of the video file, so I can just add new pictures in it and just keep the same intro and outro, the whole thing. And so I put the date on it, and the date was like March 21st, I think. So I hadn't done any since then. But I was thinking, since I'm having so much trouble getting, it's not so much trouble getting back on track, because I don't consider that I'm off track. I'm off kilter. There's a good way to put it. I'm off kilter, because this drug, this Ozempic, it has messed with my taste buds and my appetite and my desire for certain foods. Now, what I was saying was, if you seen my What I Ate video last night, when I come in from the doctor, oh my Lord have mercy, we're going to talk about that if I don't forget. I come in the door and it was smelling good. Well, when I left to go to the doctor, David was coming in. I said, what you got in that bag? He said, hamburgers. He was wanting hamburgers for breakfast, because I tell you, he gets tired of them eggs and bacon and sausages too. He sometimes he likes to have tacos. He likes that frequently. But he was wanting hamburgers. So when I come back from the doctor, I was at the doctor 2.5 hours. And I was in another town a half hour away. So by the time I got home, it was almost lunchtime. And I walked in the door. I said, gosh, it smells good in here. So I come up through the other door. I said, I sure wish I'd have told you to make me a hamburger, because that smells good. He said, I did. So he made me a hamburger. So I come in and I put mustard and ketchup and onions on it and just eat it, no bun. Oh my gosh, it was so good. But I know I can't live off hamburger patties, or can I? If it's protein, I think I can live off of whatever I need to live off of. But then if you've seen my grocery haul, you saw I got those Real Good Foods chicken strips and chicken nuggets. So I'm going to try to use those, because they have good protein and low carbs, and they're breaded, and I think you can throw them in the air fryer, so it's kind of resembles something you would want to get at the fast food joint. That is just way too high in carbs and fat and all that stuff. So, and it's high protein. I think 4 ounces, 23 grams of protein, so that's good. And it's not a plain old boiled chicken. Bald chicken. I said that one time. Sometimes it comes out a little bit deeper. Bald. Somebody said they thought I was saying bald, B-A-L-D. Joan says, oh my gosh. So if I'm on the phone with her, either videoing or talking, or like on my video the other day, she laughs because she says, when you're talking to other people down there, your southern just comes out. Your southern just really comes out. I'm like, when I'm talking with my people, y'all are my people, but I'm like, if you can, if you can imagine, this is it's not a proper. I don't speak properly. I talk like I'm talking to just somebody I know, but when it's like somebody in person, I guess Southern meets Southern, and that's who I am. So that real Southern comes out when I'm with my Southerners. But those real good chickens are better than boiled chicken, or even like grilled chicken. I don't want that, and it is such good protein. I don't want that. I think that's why that hamburger patty tasted so good yesterday. And we actually had beef for supper too. Chuck roast. It was beef ribs, country style beef ribs, which is just cut up chuck roast. So that's why I just called it chuck roast. Oh. You know what? Who was it on my live that said they can hear my clock over here? I'm like, you can hear that? I don't hear it. Well, I was hearing something, and it ain't time for David to be home. That's why I'm like, okay, what am I hearing? I had to study on it for a minute. It's my clock. I never hear that thing. So why am I hearing it this morning? Where were we? That boiled chicken does not sound good. But my taste buds, and that's the problem these past 2 weeks. My taste buds want the carbs. And I call it carb face. I think I can see it in my face. I do. I think I can see the carb puffies in my face, and I don't like it. I like how the carbs taste, and that's what I'm wanting. That's what I'm desiring. I'm not craving them like, oh my gosh, if I don't get some tater chips, I'm going to just like turn into the Tasmanian devil. I'm not craving the carbs, but that's what I want to eat. And that's what I've been eating too much of. So like I make stuff for David and I don't eat it, but I've been eating it. I've been eating like the noodles and the taters and the, what was it? Something else. What was that? Some of the kind of carb I had made. I hadn't had any rice. I hadn't made any rice. I had polenta last night. Which, like I tell you, it's just cornmeal mush. What you do is you make cornmeal mush. It's just cooked cornmeal. That's all it is. Cooked cornmeal. And if you want it like made like polenta style, you just put it in a loaf pan, any kind of pan you want, stick it in the fridge, it sets up, and then you just slice it and fry it. Same exact thing. It's just different cultures call it different things. Italians call it polenta. Southerners call it cornmeal mush. So there you go. Lesson for today. So I've eaten too many carbs and not enough protein. And that takes me to the problem of not tracking. When I haven't tracked, I haven't been keeping up with just how many grams of protein I have eaten. So I couldn't tell you, even though I sit back here and get to talking to y'all. I think it's because I got my air conditioner cranked down slow. That's what I was going to look up. Listen, I just told somebody on my group this morning, I ain't had none of the side effects of this Ozempic. I just ain't. I hear about people have this and that and the other, and I ain't had none of it. And I was having a hot flash this morning, and I'm thinking, you know what? I've been having these lately. I ain't had a hot flash since I went through menopause when I was 52 years old. I ain't had no hot flashes. And since I've lost weight, I get kind of cold. But here lately, I've been cranking my air back down. I hadn't cranked it. You know, I usually keep it in here where you can hang meat. That's what David tells me. He says, you can hang meat in here. When I go wake him up, I crawl up in the bed. I'm like, ooh, you're toasty. He said, I have to be. And he stays all covered up. Wonder he don't put his head up under there. Because that room, when the door's shut, woo, it gets cold. I told him, I said, you're like the penguins. You evolved into learning how to survive in your environment. But I've been having these hot flashes, and that's what I wrote down, because I meant to look it up before I come on here, because I want to tell you if that was one of the side effects or not. If Ozempic gives you hot flashes, because I tell you what, I've been having them, and I ain't liking it. I remember those days, and now I went through those days, and them days are gone, and I want them to stay gone. But if it's one of the things I got to deal with, then it's just one of the things I got to deal with. But by not tracking, I can't look and see, well, you didn't hit your protein goal, but you had this much. So you were this far off of it. And I didn't track my carbs, so I can't say, look at all the carbs you ate. So I have started tracking. I actually had my book here and my Pretty Owl book. And I have tracked, well, I didn't track Tuesday because I don't know, Tuesday got away from me and I just didn't write anything down. But I did start, what day did I start? Friday. I started Friday. And so I tracked everything I ate since last Friday. So almost a week. Hold on just a second. So I haven't been tracking since Friday. Now, that don't mean I've been eating properly since Friday, because I haven't. Not until yesterday. And that's why I thought, if I do my what I eat videos, it should help me remember that I've got to get my protein in there, and I've got to stay away from those carbs. Everybody don't have to eat high protein, low carbs, but it's good for you. I mean, it will help you lose weight, and it will help your blood sugar stay stabilized if you have troubles in that area. Now, it don't work for everybody. We've talked about this. Everybody's not the same, but if you need help with your blood sugar, then step away from the carbs. The simple carbs. Eat your good complex carbs, your brown rices and whole wheat pastas and whole wheat breads and beans, those kind of good things. And then eat your protein. We can all eat more protein. Protein is like, isn't protein a building block for our somethings? For our muscles, isn't it? Isn't that what it is? Well, with bariatric surgery, they push on us high protein, low carb, which is not super high protein. It's higher protein than the carbs. And the carbs aren't super low. They say stay below 50. And if you just eat properly, with proper portions, you can do that. As long as every single meal ain't full of taters and white rice and white pasta and all that. That's where your carbs come in, because to get your net carbs, and then they never told us total carbs or net carbs. There for a while I was just total carbs, but I'm looking at my net carbs too, because the fiber content in your carb does not count against your carb allowance. Your carb allowance. Your carbs in a food. So if you have a food that's 10 carbs and it has 5 grams of protein, your net carbs are 5. So those are the carbs. The 5 carbs are the ones that's going to do all the carby things that they do. The fiber is going to do all the fibery things that it does. So it's going to counteract 5 of those carbs. Well, I've got to stay away from the carby carbs, and I've got to not eat them at every meal or just when I want them. Like, oh, think I want some carbs. Okay, well, let's just have some carbs. No! Stop it. That's me talking to me. I'm not slapping at you. Of course, I will if I need to. But I've got to get that protein in. And so I did yesterday. I got my protein in. We need 70 to 90. Bariatric patients. So I think it was 65 if I remember correctly. So that's close enough to count for a win for my first day of actually tracking the numbers. I've tracked my food, but I haven't tracked the numbers. So now I'm going to start tracking the numbers. The calories, which I'm not really paying close attention to because I'm not going to, like yesterday, I had very low calories. And when I tallied it up, I came back here, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not enough calories. But I'm like, I'm not going to eat something just to be eating it to get more calories, especially when I'm not hungry. And what I ate yesterday, that is all I wanted. That little bit of food is all I wanted. And here's the thing. Even though I've been eating carbs that I probably shouldn't be eating, no cakes or candies, no kind of carbs like that. None of that, I can tell you that. No chips, no snacks, just the extra stuff, like when I cook for David. I'll eat that first and leave the protein on my plate. And that's just not good for me. But, what was I saying? Oh, I hate it when I do that. Tracking. Okay. I had to cut out some thinking time because I couldn't think. I believe I was talking about the carbs I have been eating, but even though I've been eating the carbs, what I was going to say was I've not been eating much. So that's the only thing that saves me from gaining this week, I do believe, is because I don't eat much food. I cannot eat much food at a time. I am finally feeling like I was supposed to feel, and y'all get sick of hearing me say the same old thing, when I had the surgery. I was talking to this little girl yesterday. Listen. I had to go to the doctor yesterday. Well, she needed some labs. So I go in there. Long story short, she sticks me 6 times. 2 different girls. Not a drop of blood. I am a hard stick. Normally, they will stick me more than once. Very rarely do they get what they need on one stick. Very, very rarely. So even when they go around and stick all these different places, they get a little bit of blood at each one until they finally hit the one that gives them what they need. Yesterday, not a drop. I told them, I said, this has never happened. Never. I've at least given drops, little portions of tubes, but I was dry as a bone yesterday. I could not believe it. So then they sent me across the hall to the OB/GYN office. See if they could get any. Well, 2 girls over there felt all my veins. They're like, we don't feel anything. She said she felt one right here. She said, but it's right beside your tendons. She said, and if I hit your tendons, she said, you're going to punch me in the stomach. I said, well, then we won't try that. We just won't go there. So they're like, we're not going to stick you if we can't feel anything. And I mean, I got stuck. Can you see right there? I got stuck up here because I had blood drawn there one time. When he couldn't find it anywhere else in my arms, he got it up there. So we tried it, and they said, we're not going to stick you if we can't feel anything. So I went back over to my side, to my doctor, to make an appointment for my 3-month follow-up and for labs. And the little girl who works the lab there, she had happened to walk over to the front office area when I had got there, and she goes, we may have to go ahead and send you to, a lab situation. I'm like, well, can I go at home instead of, because this is a half hour away. Listen, I went 45 minutes away. When she moved from up here, she went 45 minutes away because she had to with this agreement. When doctors leave Group A, they have to sign an agreement that says they won't practice within so many miles of Group A when they go to Group B. So she had moved 45 minutes away. So I left this practice. I jumped hospital and healthcare systems to go with her. That's how much I love her. So I went 45 minutes away, and now her permanent place is 30 minutes away. I'm like, I'll travel. I don't care. I'll go. I'll go for her. But I said, could I go down here because we have labs down here? That's where they send you to down here at the different doctor's offices. They just have a main lab. And so I'm like, well, can I go to mine? They're like, yeah. So they sent me up an appointment today. With the exception of my coffee, which I have one as soon as my feet hit the floor, and I have to drink coffee when I talk to y'all because that's just how we do it. We talk and we drink. Drink coffee. But I will be drinking water the rest of the day because, boy, if that told me nothing, that told me I was dehydrated. That is where I am also lacking. I am lacking in drinking the water. Just lacking. Oh my gosh. I don't know what happened to me. I was drinking my water so good, and then I quit drinking my water and I just drink coffee. I'll make me some tea, but I don't drink a lot of that. And but anyway, when I was over there getting my labs in my doctor's office, the little girl, I was talking to her, and I said something about having had, I said, I was making a joke, something about, well, I lost all this weight, and now my veins are lost weight, because that's how I do. I run my mouth. And so I told her, I said, I had weight loss surgery. She said, me too. I'm like, I had mine in October. She said, I had mine in November. So we were talking. I said, girl, and she had hers at the same weight loss clinic, although I don't know if she went to my clinic. It's all the same system. But she had her surgery in Charlotte, and I had mine down here. Even though you're at this one clinic, they'll send you to Charlotte. Just depends. They'll send you different places depending on what doctor you have. And I said, girl, I had to get out of that Facebook group. She said, me too. I'm like, them people like, oh, I ate a cucumber for breakfast, and that's all I could eat all day. She goes, tell me about it. She said, can I tell you the truth? I said, what? She said, I want chips. I said, oh. She said, can I tell you something else? I said, yes. She says, I ate them. I said, well, honey, just because we had the surgery don't mean anything else has changed. She said, no. I said, people that say we took the easy way out don't have a clue. She said, they don't have a clue. She said, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. I said, tell me about it. I said, we changed our body for the rest of our life. We physically, surgically changed our body for the rest of our life. And we still have to work just as hard as if we didn't change our bodies. But she's lost twice the weight I have. And then I got to thinking, and I am not using old as an excuse because I am not considering 61 and 2. Oh, today's my brother's I just thought of the date. Today's my brother's birthday. So 2 weeks is mine. I'll be 61. So I'm not considering that old because it's funny. The older you get, the younger you consider yourself because, how many times have I said I look back and I've got more years behind me than I got in front of me. But the closer you get up there, you're like, that ain't old, that ain't old. Don't call me old. But I got to thinking, and I know people my age have the surgery and they do well, but could it be my particular body at an older age just doesn't have the metabolism of hers because she was at a younger age. So that's why hers fell off and mine didn't. Have I been complaining about something that I can't control? Which a lot of it I can't, because I have done what I'm supposed to do a great majority of the time. I'm not going to say I have all the time. I wouldn't lie to you like that. I couldn't lie to you like that, because I come on here and I tell you all the gory details of, oh, well, I screwed up this week, and, you know, this, that, and the other, so y'all know I ain't done everything I'm supposed to do every single week since I've had surgery, but for the most part, I think I've done good. So could it be that my metabolism is a little slower, and so that's why it's not just falling off, which, like she said, mine ain't falling off. She said, I'm having to work for it. She said, I told her, I said, nothing bothers me. She said, really? I said, really? No fats, no sweets, no sugar, no fried foods, no nothing, no hot sauce, nothing bothers my stomach. I said, it's like I got a cast iron stomach. And a lot of what happens when you have this surgery, and she had the same one I did, the gastric bypass, the various foods don't sit right in your stomach, and they give you all this dumping syndrome, which I have come to learn is not just throwing up. It's like burping and gurgling and like maybe diarrhea. Oh, listen, we have it. Who cares? And she's like, she wants chicken nuggets so bad. She says she ate one the other day, and she said, oh, it did not agree with her stomach. I said, sometimes I wish foods did that to me, because then it would keep me from eating them. You know what I mean? Like, well, I ain't eating that because I know how to make me feel. Well, none of that stuff makes me feel no kind of way. Except for, that was good. That's the one way I feel, and that don't help you lose weight when the stuff tastes good. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, but I keep trying. You know, I keep doing my thing. But I've got to get, and I'm thinking these what I eat videos is gonna make me be more cognizant of, okay, I've got to film my food. Somebody's gonna call me out. I thought you're supposed to be eating all this protein. I don't see no protein. That right there will make you think, oh, I don't want nobody calling me out because I don't want to hear it. You know, none of us want to hear, you're not doing the right thing. Maybe you could do this. Nobody wants to hear it when, you know, sometimes we need to, but I do think sometimes there's a way to say it and a way not to say it. And sometimes people's comments can get kind of like that, you know, and those are the ones like Frank said on Everybody Loves Raymond when they were meeting Amy's parents, and Amy's parents says something about them, and Marie says, or Frank said it second, Marie said it first, I take umbrance, and Frank's like, I take umbrance too. So when I get these finger wagging comments, I take umbrance at those. Constructive, could you maybe try this? That's different. No, that's different. It's all in not the way you say it, not what you say all the time. It's the way you say it, and it's not always the way you type it. Sometimes it comes across in some kind of way that maybe you didn't mean it to, maybe you did. But anyway, that's not even the subject I was trying to get on. That just came out of nowhere. So I thought, well, I'll try to do that. They're a pain in my butt, but they're really easy videos to make. It's just when I have to come back here and make them and I'm tired, I don't feel like making them. But I will say this, having to get David up an hour early, that gives me an hour more of daylight that I have to try to stay awake. I went to bed before daylight ended last night because I told him, I'm like, if I'm tired, why does it matter if it's daylight or if it's dark? You take naps during the daytime, so why can't I go to bed when it's still daylight? I go to bed when I'm tired. So I did. But it helps me stay up later than going to bed at 8 o'clock. Which I feel like doing when he leaves for work at like 20 to 8. I could go to bed right there and then and not think nothing about it. But like last night, they gave me something to come back here and piddle around with, you know. But, oh, listen. I know some of you done seen my video with Darby at the dentist. Let me just give you a little bit more than that little. If I thought about it because I was just going to tack that little thing on that we filmed in the dentist's office. I was just going to tack it onto a video. And then I come home, I'm like, I don't really have a video to tack it onto, so I'm just going to stick it up there like it is. And it was fine. But what had happened was my daughter found this dentist, and they're in the neighboring town. So they're like, there's us and there's Concord and there's Harrisburg. And Harrisburg's not a big town, but they're kind of close to her. So she found them, and she told me, she said, because she is terrified of the dentist, just like I am. Terrified. I have had traumatic experiences with the dentist. And Holly told me, she goes, I went there because they have a 5.0 rating. She said, because 4.9 is too low. Like, I hear you, baby girl. So I said, well, I'm going to go there, because if Holly likes them, as scared as she is, I'm going. So I called, I made my appointment, and you have to fill out your forms. You don't have to, but you fill out your forms online. So then, you get there, you're done. You don't have to sit there and fill out all this paperwork. Well, one of the things they ask you to do is upload your picture. So, well, it wasn't long after I submitted it, I get a message from Darby, because she's messaged me before. She's from my hometown. She's from Kannapolis. We've never met, but she's from Kannapolis. I don't know how she found me, but she found me. And she's like, oh, okay. So we've talked about different things from being here and whatnot. And so I get a message from her, and she goes, I just thought I'd tell you that you're on my schedule for tomorrow. She works at that dentist office, which I'm not going to name it until she tells me I can, because, that's personal. She might not want you to know my name is Darby and I work at this dentist office. You know what I mean? We'll go on about it and see. Well, she said, yes, she said, she was looking and she seen my picture, and I guess she had one of these I know her kind of moments, and so she thought she would let me know before I just showed up, in case I had any problem with it, or if I didn't, feel comfortable with her being my hygienist or whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, what a small world. We're not even in town. We're 2 towns over. Out of the blue, there's Darby, where I made my dentist appointment, and she's going to be my hygienist. Chances are, if I wasn't on her schedule, if I was on somebody else's schedule, if she hadn't been in the hallway or somewhere where she could see me walking, our paths never would have crossed. But just the way the stars aligned and I met Darby, there you go. How funny is that? Oh my gosh. That is crazy. So yeah. Oh, she's a sweetheart. Oh my word, she's a sweetheart. And now I have to have some dental work done next Thursday, and one of them is an extraction. And I texted her and I said, are you going to be in there with me? Well, she called me because she was driving home. She called me. She said, well, I figured I better just call because I can't text. She goes, no. She said, you don't want me in there. You want her assistant in there. Let me just tell you, I have never been to a dentist where the dentist had a dedicated dental assistant. I have been in with the hygienist who does their thing, and, they do their x-rays and whatever else they do. And when the dentist is doing his work or her work, that same hygienist is in there assisting him. I've never been anywhere where they have a dedicated assistant. I'm like, I've never experienced that before. This dentist, I tell you what, they do things different. She'll tell you their kind of their mission is to change the way you think about dentists, and they're on the right track with me. I'll tell you that right now. So I won't say I can't wait till next Thursday, but I'm not dreading it as much as I would be. Probably because I said, give me the gas. Because Holly told me, she goes, now they'll give you the pill before or they'll give you the nitrous. I'm like, give me the gas. So the gas is not covered by insurance. You have to pay that. I'm like, we'll pay it. I'm like, maybe I don't need it. So I was talking to the little girls up front when they was picking up my how much insurance is going to pay and how much I'll need to bring and all this and that. We were talking about, okay, with your nitrous, here's that charge and I said, yeah. I said, maybe I'm being a baby. Maybe I don't need it. And the one little girl, she goes, there's no reason not to get it. You're right. So I hope I don't act stupid and say something ignorant while I'm under the influence of the nitrous oxide. But I told Darby, I said, they'll give you all kind of stuff. I said, give me the works. I want the dark glasses. I want the headphones with the music. She said, we'll give you a nice blanket. I said, I want the blanket. I don't want to know. I want the gas. I don't want to know what's going on in my mouth. I just want it done. I just want to lay down, zone out with all these creature comforts, and just let the work be done and leave along my merry way. Now, maybe I'll find out it wasn't bad. Of course, it shouldn't be bad if I'm on the gas. And I'll have another, because I got bad teeth, I'll have another visit to finish. And then I'll have to go back for the cleaning. And the little girl that made my appointment, she was, oh my gosh, these are the sweetest people. I'm here to tell you, these are the sweetest people. I ain't never been across much of sweeter, I'll tell you. And so I was telling her, she goes, we'll schedule your cleaning, when you come in. I'm like, well, no, I'm not really ready for that. I said, because it's going to hurt. I have really super sensitive teeth. I said, I'm not ready for the cleaning. She said, well, we can put that aside and they can do that, at a later date. You see if you need any work done or whatever, which I knew I did. And so when I come out there to make my appointments, to get my schedule of, payment and stuff, she come around the corner. She goes, how did you do? She said, I just wanted to check in on you because I know you were a little nervous on the phone. Wasn't that sweet? So we started talking. She's covered in tattoos. It must get cold in that office. Cold. They all wearing black scrubs, but she had a long black sleeve shirt on under her black scrubs and long pants on. So I'm thinking with her wearing the long sleeves, she probably gets a little chilly in there. So she come out and she goes, oh, I like your tattoos. She goes, yeah. She said, I've got them. She said she had 14. I said, well, you can't see none of them. She goes, no, you can't. She goes, she had to have some work done, clean, whatever she had to have done. And she saw the other dentist that was there. And he said, she went in, it was like hot. She had her shorts on, little shirt. He said, well, I didn't know you had all that. Because she keeps it covered up at work. No, he didn't know till he seen her in the chair. I thought that was pretty funny. And so, yeah, she says she's a baby. Said that, that's what it was. Said she had one little feeling. He said, it's just a little feeling. He said, let's do it without being numb. She's like, no. He's like, yeah, you can do it. She's like, okay. She said he went to touch it. She's like, no, I'm a baby. Knock it out. I'm like, that's what I feel like. I feel like a baby, like, give me the nitrous. But what I've been through, okay, let me just tell you. The last time I went to the dentist was probably 10 years ago. And that's horrible to admit, but I had traumatic experiences from a child, and then I have sensitive teeth on top of it. And when you get dentists that don't really care, and they don't care if they hurt you, and they don't care if it's numbed all the way. I've had different experiences through the years of just, oh my gosh, One dentist I went to, he had to be a quack. It's just, oh my gosh, what he did. So this last dentist I went to, I had to have a tooth pulled. I know y'all can see when I talk, my missing teeth. So he had to pull this one, and I didn't know at the time it was infected. I just knew, okay, this tooth hurts, and I need it out. My little pea brain didn't know, that aching tooth means you're probably infected. So he goes to pull it, and when I tell you this, you can take it to the bank as pure tea, absolute truth. I sat in that dentist chair all day long, and he gave me 10 numbing shots. 10! All these fingers. 10 numbing shots throughout the day. Finally, he said, well, I'm going to send you. I don't know the specialist. I don't know what his specialty was, but I went. That man was livid. He said, why in the hell did he not send you over here and let me do that? I'm like, I don't know. Well, I'm dumb. I don't know. You can go to somebody else, and I mean, I know you can go be put to sleep, but I don't know you can go to somebody else. If the dentist is having trouble doing it, then what makes me think somebody else ain't gonna have trouble doing it? So that's the last time I've been to the dentist. No, sorry, Bob. Was not going again until I'm having these troubles. I'm like, I need to go. So I'm like, Holly, who you go to? Because I knew you liked them. So yeah, that's my dentist story. I'm about to have a hot flash thing. I got on 68 degrees in here at 7:20 in the morning, which I had on 68 earlier when I got up. And now I'm sitting here starting to have a hot flash. I've got to look that up, if that's one of the side effects. This ain't making me hot because it's cold. So I don't think there was nothing else I was going to tell you. Let's remember. 260.6 minus 0.8, 116.5. I'm getting close to 120. Give me a few more weeks. I hope to be there. And I hope doing these videos will help me get there. So that is my hope. All right, well, I'm going to let you go. Get this thing uploaded. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do go to labs today. I think I told you that. So I got to go in there and start drinking my water. I mean, I got to load it up. I told him, I said, don't make my appointment until later in the day, so I have plenty of time to drink. So, there's the air. Whew. I'm going to find a vent and get up under it. So, that'll do it for me today. Now, let me say this. I don't know if we'll have live tomorrow or not, because RJ's got to come help David do something, and Sebastian will come with him. And so I don't know if they'll be here when we go live at 1 or not. And obviously if they're here, I'm not going live. And then I don't know if I'm going to do prep on Saturday or not, because I'm here to tell you. The other day when I said my refrigerator space was at a premium, I couldn't inch a crouton up in that refrigerator. There is so much stuff in that refrigerator. I've got extra milk for Sebastian. I've just got, oh my gosh, my almond milk. I was finishing up on one from last week, so there's 3 cartons of almond milk in there. There's 2 Fairlifes because I still had one of those. There's a big old thing of grapes. I took out the rest of the watermelon yesterday. It had turned pithy, so I had to get rid of it. You know, don't nobody want no pithy watermelon. That's nasty. So it is crammed full. I don't have room to put prep, and I don't foresee. My chicken salad, I still have plenty of that. I still have plenty of pimento cheese, so them's not coming out. There's some leftovers in there. I'm not throwing them away. They're not bad. We'll eat on them, or David will. And I'm just trying to think. It's just like an extra jar of salsa, extra jar of spaghetti sauce, cottage cheese, sour cream, all kind of things. And I don't have a big refrigerator, so I don't have one of these nice big 2-door fancy Sub-Zeros, which I would love to have. But I can't fit one in, and I can't refigure my cabinets because it's built in, and so it would mess up my cabinets. So I'm stuck. Unless we redo the kitchen, I'm not redoing that. We just redid that back in 2009. I ain't redoing it again. Too soon. It ain't wore out its usefulness, and I don't foresee doing it in our older age because I just don't. That's not something I'm worried about. I'm fine. So chances are there won't be a prep on Saturday unless I can figure out some way to reorganize it, and I don't see it. My drawers are full. Everything is full. my coffee creamer's in there. I didn't finish off my one from last week, so I got 2 in there with that. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So there may or may not be a live, and there may or may not be a late live. So just all I know is I'll put up a community post, and if you have your notification bell set to all, you should get that notification, and then you'll either see a prep on Saturday or you won't. And then so after that, I don't know when I'll be back. I just don't know. Sebastian's going to be here this weekend. I know that much, so I ain't going to film nothing while he's here. We got things to do. You know what I'm saying? Holly and Jacob's coming tomorrow. Since Sebastian will be here playing, in here while they're doing their thing. So I told Holly, I said, well, Sebastian will be here if you and Jacob want to come up. She goes, yes. So I get to see both my babies tomorrow at the same time. Got to get my new picture. I got my picture over here. Every time they're together, I have to take a picture of them. And every picture, Jacob just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Sebastian, bigger and bigger and bigger. They're just growing right before my eyes. So, yeah. And if we can get Jacob to sit still long enough to smile, that's going to be the trick. And Sebastian, he smiles like his daddy. He just gives you a little, he don't give you the big, he don't. So anyway, that's where we stand with that. So I'm gonna hush it up, and I will see you when? I'll see you when I see you.